What are your toxic relationship and family stories? Was I wrong to kick my family out? My family, mom, dad, preteen brother, teenage sister, were staying with me and my fiancée at our place. They got here on the 1st, and were meant to stay until the 21st. My parents have always had knocking-related issues, which is part of why I was so happy to move out of their place. On getting here, mom decided to make everyone breakfast every single day. While I think this is very nice of her, she makes it when she wakes up at 7, and it's done for 7:30. So if anyone isn't awake and sat at the table for 7:30, she'll come get them. My fiancé and I are not morning people, and even before lockdown we never had to get up before 8. But now we're working from home, we've been getting up closer to 10. So for a week mom has been barging into our room to wake us every morning. It's summer, or at least summer adjacent. It's hot as all F, so my fiancé is usually just in boxers and I'm just in underwear, comfy bra and pants. My fiancé has a couple scars on his chest from a surgery years ago, and my bra has a tendency to roll up, down, left, right. So on any given morning we could look like anything. This morning mom said she had a click and collect order to get from the supermarket, so she and my sister went to get it. They came back and mom picked up a bag and asked me to talk in another room. I went with her and she handed me the bag, which contained 4 pairs of pajamas. 2 men, 2 women, all supermarket own brand. They're full-on long trouser/long sleeve things with cuffs around the wrists and ankles to stop them slipping too far. Mom basically said she got them so she doesn't have to see mine and my fiancé's bare chests every morning as it's making her feel awkward. I then said that there was another way. She could stop barging into our bedroom every morning. This caused mom to get annoyed, and a fight started pretty quickly, where her side was that she felt unwelcome because she had to see that every morning, and I said that it was our house and she needs to learn to knock. Eventually mom complained that it didn't feel like home and I responded that it's not their home. Mom then went and told everyone to pack their bags because clearly they're not welcome here. They were out in the car in less than 10 minutes. It's 4 a.m., 12 hours after the fight, and I've had dozens of texts from all 4 of them. They're currently at a crappy hotel in the next town because we're a 10-hour drive from home. They all want to come back. I've said no. They're calling me wrong because I kicked them out over sleepwear and won't let them come back despite everyone having had time to cool off and mom apologizing. Though it was half-assed, my fiancé is actually relieved they're gone, but has said they can come back if I want as his family have stayed for a full month before now. But I'm torn between annoyed at mom trying to take over my house and feeling ridiculous because this is all over mom buying me pajamas. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for not letting my son's biological father see him now that he found out how I make money? I am 25 and female. I have a 5-year-old son with an ex. My ex has not once seen or talked to our son since he was born. I raised my son on my own because his father had zero interest in being a parent and ended the relationship when I refused to get an abortion after we accidentally got pregnant. I never posted on social media about my ex being the father or mentioned it. When asked, I always said my son has no father. Before the pandemic started, I was working as a dancer at a very high-end gentleman's club, and I made decent money. I have been able to fully support me and my child without ever getting a dime from his father or the government. Well, now thanks to shutdowns I am out of work and have made an OnlyFans so I can have income. Somehow my ex found my OnlyFans account and has contacted me saying he wants custody of our child because I'm not fit to be a mother. His only reason is my job. I told him he's not a father. I did not put him on the birth certificate, and seeing as how I know I make more money than him, if he takes me to court I will fight for full custody. He has now put all over social media what I do for a living and even has pictures from my OnlyFans posted. I have no idea how he got them and can only assume a friend of his is a subscriber. I do not tell family what I do for a living because I didn't want it to get back to my child when he's older. I'm now refusing to ever let him see my son and am being called an a-hole for denying him his rights, but the way I see it, we have no current court order, and he hasn't spoken to me since our son was born 5 years ago. I feel he has no right to my child and shouldn't get to judge how I support us when he abandoned him. If I'm wrong I'll accept judgment, but I feel like he's the a-hole in this. Update. I wanted to post an update to say thank you for all the responses and advice. I did speak with an attorney this morning along with OnlyFans and will be pursuing legal action. My ex is also a moron and publicly posted a long-winded post on social media including the line, "I would rather my child be dead than raised by someone selling their body for money. He shouldn't live that way, and I will be putting a stop to it," among other vaguely threatening statements. My lawyer is currently attempting to get an emergency restraining order against him, and if successful, he does believe it will get granted. It will pretty much guarantee he won't be getting custody. brother and his girl want power over our baby names. My wife is 7 months pregnant. My brother's girlfriend is 4 months. The other day I made a joke about claiming a baby name. It was just a reference to a game my brother and I played as kids, where we pointed at random stuff and said I claim it, and the objective was to build the coolest inventory. The girlfriend knew about the game and got upset because my joke had accidentally claimed her father's name. We assured her it was a joke and we wouldn't be using the name, but she was really upset. This wasn't the hill to die on, so I went and apologized to the girlfriend's standards, a full-on apology where I said that I messed up, promised not to make the joke again, and said I wouldn't make references she didn't get after this. She then said, for her own peace of mind, that she needed to see our list of baby name ideas, to prove that we weren't choosing her father's name. I thought that was already a bit much, but my wife pretty much said, look, the worst is over, at this stage what's the harm of just showing her the list? I agreed, so we texted my brother the list of potential baby names. We had 2 options for first names, and our chosen middle name, a family name for my wife's family that both her brother and grandfather have. He then calls me and says that she thinks the middle name is too close to her father's. She says, is there anything else you can use? I explain the significance of the name to both of them over the phone and it's what we're using. They say that it's too close and we need to pick another name. I then, sarcastically, say, and do we have your approval for our first names? To which the girlfriend responds, well, actually, and goes on to tell me that they really like one of our 2 choices, the one we were leaning more towards, and ask if we can use our other option so they can have the one they like. It's a gender-neutral name, and not only do they not know the gender of the child she's currently carrying, but they plan to have more. I love my brother, I really do. But this is ridiculous. I have to put my foot down. But we're really close and I don't want to completely screw up our relationship by pissing off his pregnant girlfriend. Is it wrong that I don't want to invite my famous relative to my special event? I, 28F, have a cousin Mia who is a pretty famous actress. Our family isn't really fazed by her being famous, and to me she's just my cousin and friend, but this has caused a problem at events with other people, like at my sister's wedding last year. We didn't really think about Mia being famous. My sister and I just thought of her like any other cousin and seated her as such, but during the ceremony, when we had asked for no phones out, people from the groom's side, including his friends, took out phones to take pictures of Mia and turned around to look and point at her, even during the vows. It was a pretty big disturbance, and right after the ceremony ended people got up to go ask Mia for selfies, which continued during the reception, where people came up to her during dinner and toasts to ask for pictures. My sister and Mia were both upset, and Mia told me afterwards that she felt awful and that she ruined the wedding. I don't think she ruined it completely, it was probably cool for her fans, but it did mess up the ceremony. My fiancé and I got engaged a few months ago, and we're planning to get married in, hopefully, early 2021. I don't want a repeat of what happened at my sister's wedding. It might be that I'm selfish or just wrong, but I'd like to be able to say my vows without half of the guests turning around, whispering loudly, and taking photos. I want Mia to be able to attend the wedding though, so I was thinking of asking her to maybe not sit right up front with all the other family and sort of slip in the back quietly, or just attend the reception. My fiancé comes from a big family and he has a lot of teenage and college-age cousins, nieces and nephews that he and I know will definitely recognize Mia. I suggested telling them and their parents beforehand, and he said that would probably make them more determined to show up with their phones and come prepared to ask her annoying questions. Mia and I were FaceTiming about the wedding, and I told her about the ceremony issue. I explained why it was a problem and suggested either she sit in the back or go to the reception. She said she was a little hurt, but she understood and didn't want to have another ceremony like my sister's. Well, she ended up telling my aunt this, and my aunt told my mom how I was excluding Mia just because she had fans, and now they're both calling and texting me to have Mia sit in the front with all my other cousins and saying I don't really care about this family. Mia's also been sort of chilly with me when we text, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm doing something wrong. I just wanted a quiet ceremony. Am I wrong? My abusive sister apologized to me, but hasn't changed. I'm done feeling obligated to forgive her. If you can't tolerate a family member's behavior, you should have every right to cut them out. My older sister has bullied me ever since I was born. We are both female and in our 20s. When I was around 6 years old, I woke up one day to her holding a knife up to my neck. I cried and begged her not to, and she eventually left. But I will never forget that moment. She had a primal rage towards me. She has always hated me. Our parents say it's because she was jealous that I got more attention due to being the youngest during my first few years of life. But even after I was able to be a little more independent, the abuse did not stop. No matter how nice I tried being to her, no matter how much I gave away my favorite toys to appease her, she always hated me. During her teens, It didn't get any better. She'd scream and lash out violently towards our parents and me. She'd run away on the middle of the night to spend time with random boys she met online. I saw how hard our parents tried to help her, getting her into therapy, etc., but she was out of control. Her senior year of high school, she met a boy from school and spent most of her time over at his house. Suddenly, she did a 180, or so it seemed, and calmed down a lot. A couple years, she opened up to me about her behavior and apologized. I forgave her, really wanting us to have a connection and thinking that maybe things changed. But things haven't really changed too much, because after we started getting closer, she began making passive-aggressive remarks to me, humiliating me and mocking me when I opened up to her about anything, and blaming all of her abuse/bullying of me on me. Yes, apparently I deserve to get hit, punched, have things thrown at me, called all sorts of degrading insults, locked in a room for hours whenever our parents weren't home, and have my life threatened multiple times. She said she believed I was running to our parents and encouraging them to attack her. She literally thought that I, a child who had no idea why any of this was happening, was somehow manipulating our parents into hating her, even though they never did and tried their best to help her despite her behavior. I couldn't believe my ears. I was so angry. All of this was brewing up inside of me, but the final straw was when she made an insulting remark about my weight gain that I got from some medication I was taking. I'm done. I'm just done. My mom, who is in her late 40s, is trying to encourage me to forgive her, but it's very clear that she hasn't changed. She literally thinks she's the victim and was never actually sorry about any of her actions, evidenced by the fact that she thinks all of her actions were justifiable since she believes it was all my fault. I only put up with it for so long because my family keeps up this whole forgiveness no matter what attitude. Just because she's my sister doesn't mean I owe her anything. I know it sucks I can't be a part of my niece and nephew's lives, but my mental health can't stand this anymore. I'd like to give some kind of ending of closure, but I just needed to vent. I'm done. TLDR, my sister basically has abused and bullied me my entire life, claimed to have changed after meeting a boy her senior year of high school, apologized to me, I forgave her, but she hasn't changed. Mom tries to say I should forgive her, but I'm done. Somehow I am the bad guy. I go out of state, they break into my room, and I'm the bad guy. This happened a few months ago and I'm still so pissed and upset about it. But if I bring it up him being mean because they were just trying to help, rolling eyes face, please give me a freaking break. So basically I went on a week-long trip and my dad's wife agreed to look after my cat. The only thing she had to do was feed him and clean his litter box. The only thing. Well, I knew they were nosy people and I didn't want my bedroom door to be wide open, so I pushed a heavy bookshelf behind the door, leaving just enough space for my cat to get in and out, but no one else. She'd taken care of my cat before while I was away and there weren't any problems. She did put away some dishes, but THTSNBD and completely different. So the day comes and I figure I don't have to tell this grown-ass man and his wife not to go in my room, and if he does try then at least he will be smart enough to realize why the bookshelf was there and deter him from entering. Mistake number 1. They ask sometimes if I would like them to come help me clean and I always say no. Always. They have been allowed in my room once when they were shopping for mattresses and wanted to try mine. But that's it. I will admit I'm not the most organized person, but I've never asked for their help, never told them I wanted their help, never even hinted at it. Well, I'm in another state 500 miles away and get a call from my dad that they are cleaning my room and that there was a heavy box behind the door, but he pushed it out of the way like, are you freaking serious? I was so pissed. They never called me to ask if they could do it, they just freaking went ahead and did it because they'd assume I'd be grateful. It was disrespectful as hell and I don't trust them at all. I still kick myself because I did not react how I wanted to react or how I should have reacted. I was shocked and upset and I said I put the shelf there for a reason and he said oh sorry and that's it. And they still maintain the position that they were just helping and my family thinks I'm mean for being upset and mad at them because they were just helping. No one takes me seriously when it comes to the things he does and that's why I don't even want to try and build a relationship with him. For example, the other day he was at my office. We work in the same company our family owns. And oh my god, he would not stop hugging me or kissing me and he even said I'm your dad, I can kiss you whenever I want, which is freaking gross. First of all, he really seems to think I'm your dad gives him an excuse to do anything he wants. Anyway, I was struggling out of his hugs and hiding in the bathroom because my aunt was in the office and if I said anything like hey respect my boundaries or I don't like being touched so much can you back off, she would be the first one to gang up on me for being mean to him. He later asked me why I was so distant with him. Rolling eyes face. Anyway, another thing. I recently moved into a house my mom rents in my city because I couldn't afford my apartment any longer. She also rents the downstairs basement and there is a rumor going around that the lady who rents it is moving out next year. The funniest part is, everyone thinks I should move into the basement while my dad takes the house, and I just have to laugh because yeah right, I would rather live in my car with my cat than live close to them ever again. If that happened, my privacy and alone time would be out of the window. I couldn't go anywhere besides work without my dad calling me asking where I'm going. Remember, they're not watching me, they're just worried and trying to take care of me. Rolling eyes face. And my dad is like, well, if you don't want the basement you can just move in with me. He has been asking for months if I want to move in with him, and the answer is always no. He even mentions it would be rent-free. The answer is still no. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you got this far, I really needed to rant this morning. My aunt's secret gift messes up my dad's 60th birthday. My aunt has always been, let's say, a challenging person. She has unbelievable ability of turning everything about her and systematically ruining most family parties by trying to make them about her, then get very offended when people want to concentrate on Christmas or someone else's birthday or christening or whatever the event was about. As such, she was not invited as my dad's 60th birthday came and he wanted to celebrate it abroad. My dad wanted a small family thing, fly out to Berlin as he has never been to Germany, go check out things, have a good meal and some beer and so forth, just a relaxed, non-formal thing. My dad is in pretty good shape and he moves a lot on foot, so it was already expected that we'd walk a lot. Not a problem for anyone. The dark clouds however start gathering when my aunt calls me and tells she wants to arrange a surprise for my dad. I'm extremely reluctant, but listen to what she has to say. She says she wants something delivered for my dad and it has to be delivered to him in person. I agree to be the meal for this present, but she says no. Instead she'll have my cousin's friend who lives in Germany to deliver the present. We go back and forth about this, since I know this will be a trip where we won't stay long in one place. Eventually I promise to try to tell her if we are planning to stop somewhere to eat or something. She says she'll only need 15 minutes to deliver the gift, so when we stop for a coffee somewhere, let her know. Fine. We fly out to Germany and roam around. My aunt is constantly haunting me on WhatsApp. Do you know where and when? How about now? I let my mom know and she has this deflated look on her face and she groans. Eventually my dad says he's ready for his afternoon coffee, which is when I let my aunt know we're about to stop and tell her where. She okays it and says the present is now being delivered. 15 minutes passes. My dad is about to finish his coffee. My aunt doesn't respond to her WhatsApp. I try to stall. My mom is getting agitated over this and my dad's already burning to move on after 30 minutes from arriving there. The aunt replies and tells to keep stalling. The present is almost there. I'm starting to get this very bad feeling that my aunt is probably going to do something very stupid. 40 minutes in, my dad's getting a bit angry. He wants to move and we're just stalling. That moment my goddamn aunt and my cousin walk in. Surprise, surprise, surprise. They start singing happy birthday there in the cafe. Heads are turning. My mom's face is starting to reach a whole new level of red and my dad looks like he's praying for the earth to swallow him right there. So, my aunt's big surprise is herself. She traveled to Berlin with us to deliver a birthday card. But as they say in the infomercials, that's not all. She's wearing a tacky mink fur thing and high heels, ditto with my 19-year-old cousin. Everyone else has comfortable walking shoes. Now, they tag along as their big plan is to keep my dad company on his big day. Just imagine how well that goes. When they can't keep up with us and half a kilometer later my cousins start to whine about her high heels hurting her feet. My aunt starts guilt-tripping my dad about not making them walk all day and insists we go to a restaurant for the night for drinks and stuff. Eventually my dad gives up and we spend the night in some restaurant, where my aunt takes selfies with her daughter and my dad and posts that crap on Instagram and Facebook about how she gave her brother the biggest birthday present possible. My dad looks like a kid whose candy was taken away. On the flight back home my dad says nothing. We also drive back in complete silence. There is a fallout. My aunt gets some feedback. She naturally blows up and announces on Facebook that I'm a bitch, my mom is a bitch, etc. I just don't know what to say about this family at times. Thanks for listening. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.